Good evening, everyone, and welcome to Formula 4. And tonight we are at the one of my favourite circuits. I do enjoy a lot of Formula 1 circuits, but we're at one of the very best here tonight as we head to Monza for the Italian Grand Prix here at Formula 4. And if you missed last time out, you missed an enthralling race in Quarter, the USA Grand Prix, where we had a bit of rain, which spice things up. And I will remind you that Glock took the win last time out with no safety cars involved, so there we are. That made that up, and he won the Grand Prix after a few races of close calls in this season. And we're here tonight at Monza, and it should be an enthralling battle. Who will come out on top? Welcome all to the stream, and it should be a very good Grand Prix. And firstly, we will have a qualifying session, and we do have a not a full grid, but we do have a reserve in Bannister who's back after his appearance at the USA Grand Prix, and hopefully he'll be having a good showing this time out. And it's the legendary Monza circuit, built in 1922, and it's a very nice track. You've got some famous corners, like the two Lesmos in the middle sector. Obviously Ascari, named after the legend that is Alberto Ascari. And obviously you've got Parabolica as well, which surrounds the old banking of the old Monza circuit. And we're here tonight, and hopefully we will have a dry qualifying session as Q1 is underway. It looks so like sunny conditions, as the drivers will be starting to come out, which will be setups wise they'll be looking for low aero because of the nature of the track. Please put down your predictions for this qualifying session. We have 18 drivers, so we will be losing 3 or 4, I believe, come the end of the session. I think it's 3 with the way that the Formula 1 games work out. And hopefully we'll be in for an enthralling race, as there's the first couple of cars come out during qualifying. Welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope you're all having a good Monday evening, as certainly I have. And here we are in Formula 4 at Monza, as we're looking to pick up who is the first car to track, and it looks like to be Andenge in the Jaguar. As we say, talking about Jaguar, let's look over the Dreams and Drivers stand-ins. We start off with the drivers, with Droftas leading by a point against Paulie Orange, who's a point in front of Glock, who's a point in front of Aylan. So the two JCB and Nintendo cars are very close in the top 4 of the title, with 3 points separating. And in pot 1 you've got Droftas and Glock, who are there with Pillars, Total Peas and Blaze, who's a little bit behind. In pot 2, Paulie Orange and Aylan are walking that winner's thing stand. In pot 3, Matteo is still top with a 19-point gap to Warshaw down in the BMW. And in pot 4, Chewy overtakes Paul Watson, and the gap there is 5 points, with Chewy on 77 and Paul Watson on 72. Now to the teams, Nintendo still top with 512, then there's JCB with 424, then comes Jaguar with 379, before MTV with 348, and then the BMW at the bottom with 318. They'll be looking for a better race, and hopefully they might get a chance of swooping up the third in the constructors this evening, as we're on board with Andenge, taking us through a lap of the Monza circuit. And he opens the DRS and flies down the back straight. He'll be hitting on about 214-15 miles per hour. He's just like that with 214 before breaking into turn 1. There's a couple of slower cars in front who might just come out of the pits. One of them is he's just there, and his infamous Pillars as they go through the ground, which is turn 2 before heading into the second turn. And obviously this was a part of the track where Fernando Alonso and Sebastian Vettel battled in 2011 in the Grand Prix, as Andenge has a bit of a back end moment there on exit on the curb, and that will ruin his lap time for sure as he goes through the middle sector, as that will cost him some dear time And I think he's still valid, so he should, even if he does cross the line, this lap time will still count as he heads to this guy with the last car on his left. Going into Ascari now, shifts down to 4th, go for an up 65th. That looks okay, neat and tidy from the Jaguar as he heads down the back straight before heading into Parabolica, the final corner, obviously where we saw Charles Leclerc had an incident in last year's real life Grand Prix with Block setting down the benchmark with a 118.8. That is a very nice lap, and then to the 120.0. But yeah, I think he'll be quite pleased with that, with the mistake in sector 2, and Bloomstar, the Jaguar, with a 121.1, and there's Bannister reserve with a 120.3, 120.503, my apologies. So we're still waiting for a few people to set their laps, and there's Blaze with a 118.6. That is a very good opening for the BMW, and still waiting for some drivers. Xerxes puts himself P5 with a 120.6, another driver there. That was Paul Watson with a 21.2, himself in P11, as Total P's in the other Jaguar, as he comes down the back straight, as Matteo pops himself P3 with a 119.1. Will pot 3 championship as Droftas puts himself at the top of the timesheets with a 118.6. What can Pease do in comparison? He will cross this line, and there'll be a 116.6 as well. There's not much in it, but his Total Pease as it stands in the opening few minutes of Q1, and he is top of the timesheets. Pillars is on the lap, as well as Chewy, and I believe Aylin is as well. And we do have another reserve car, we will talk about that in a moment, as Infamous Pillars comes around Parabolica looking for his first qualifying lap of the day, and it looks like he will come across the line, obviously a bit close to the pit lane. It's a 19.1 that puts him in P6. We do have another reserve driver who's popped himself in P11 with not quite the delivery, but he's done a bit of a change. Is Necro car, and he is in the reserve team tonight. Obviously they're not classed as a constructor, so they will be flying the flag for the reserve team, really, and good luck to them, as Aylin is currently on a lap going down this somewhat bumpy back straight before bumpy DRS zone, I should say, before I need to Ascari. So you guess this right, he's in 6th gear. We obviously saw him bench go down to 4th to get the front end in, and Aylin is showing the differences you can do at this circuit as he enters Parabolica now, looking to complete the lap, and he's looking good, looking alright. This, it's not that bad. I think it'll be Paul, it won't, it'll be P7 with a 119.4. There's not much else going on track unless you are a fan of ice streams, as Pease is retired, and it looks to be, and I believe that was there's Streams who's gone off at turn 2 at the exit of the first chicane, but I'm not too sure where has Pease retired, as Paul Watson's left the session. And welcome to the stream, everyone. Hope you all have a good day. I see people commenting already, which is brilliant to see here at Formula 4. And tell all your mates, get yourself in your set when in fact the qualifying session, the streams are slowing down just to let other drivers go by. I'm not sure what happened to Pease, but that will be investigated quite quickly, because I would love to know what happened. Was it just a retirement in the pits, or was it a retirement out on track? As Aylin completes an in-lap, there's a couple of others on out laps, including Andenge, who is back out there. And there's confirmation from Doctor saying they dry qualifying as well as a dry race, which is well kept there. It's obviously not going to have the same effect as it did in 2008, which we saw the first race win for Sebastian Vettel, which in the downpour that was Monza that day, and hopefully he will be able to have a good, better season with Aston Martin next season in real life Formula 1. But we're turning our attentions back to Formula 4, with a couple of drivers still getting set lap times, and Slots just starts his, also my apologies, starts his Slots in the middle sector. Streams, this is an aborted lap after his spin, and Chaz is on an out lap as well. So we'll go on board with Slot as he enters the Ascari now. He's going to get himself in the top 15 and safe the qualifying 2 as he runs a little bit wide. That one will compromise his exit as he heads down the back straight, heading in to trying to pronounce Parabolica, and it's all gone wrong, and there's the validation there for the MTV car, which will be a bit of a disappointment as he is he's looking good to set a good lap, but must have been a mistake of Ascari that cost him that, as he'll go around again. All shot down is, well, he picked all shot down where he picked up slot, which is pretty impressive. He enters Ascari now. This looks far cleaner than what we saw just now from Slot, but there's an invalidation somewhere looking for Ascari, because that looked pretty clean to me. And there's a more disappointment for the BMW. He's been struggling in qualifying. Had a really good race last time out with him and Energetic 6 both in the top 10. But unfortunately, Energetic 6 isn't here tonight, as well as Ramsdale. So they are missing a couple of drivers. As Glock retires in the pit lane, that will be the end of him for now and the rest of the qualifying 1 session. Meanwhile, Chaza is looking like he is going to complete the lap as Paul Watson rejoins after more internet issues, as Troftas also retires. The top 4, well, 3 out of the top 4 think it's alright, and Matteo thinks it's safe as Chaza goes P7 with a 119.201, and LP is joined during qualifying, so he'll be starting at the back. There'll be more good news for Jaguar, as they have got drivers here, which is brilliant to see, especially with Andenge down in P9 and Paul Watson down in P15. And, yeah, so drop your predictions down. Who will be eliminated in qualifying 1 here at Monza? I'm not too sure, so I won't give a prediction. That's not what I do. So with previous examples is with our very own George Morgan, who's unfortunately not with us tonight. He's actually streaming on Twitch instead of turning up the Formula 4 commentary. I have to admit, when I saw the stream, I was so disappointed to see that he was streaming that I in fact dropped him a follow on Twitch for some just to say, you know, what are you doing this for? But yeah, he's doing well on Twitch in front of him, so best of luck to him. But hopefully he can make a return in the future, as you are unfortunately stuck to listening my voice for the foreseeable future, as Streams is still looking for his first lap. I think he must have come into the pits and put a new set of tyres on, and he's about to start a attempt of a lap run Monza as he opens the DRS and flying down the back straight here, hitting only 213 miles per hour as he brakes for turn 1 and turn 2. Make sure he gets a nice exit from 2, which is what he does as he flies down Curve de Grande as he looks to go into the second chicane. Obviously we saw another incident a couple of years ago involving Sebastian Vettel. I just can't stop talking about Sebastian Vettel on his track, and I think they need to sort that out. Obviously him and Lewis Hamilton had a bit of a spin, and ice streams has also had a bit of a spin. Well, this time with the exit not in the corner like what we saw a couple of years ago, but the Streams has had a bit of a moment on exit, lost of traction, and that is him round at the exit of turn number 4, and hopefully the ice streams can get that car back into pit, a new set of tyres, and out for the end of Q1, which would be good to see. Slots on the out lap, and all shot downs on that lap right behind him, so it should be interesting to see. And Gav, I'd like to thank you for that comment. The baritone feature. I am a bit of a musician myself, but my vocals aren't up to standard. I do in fact play an instrument, the trombone, you know, the slidey one, and that's what I do, as well as amongst other things, as we're on board with all shot down as he hits Lesmo 2. And keep having throwbacks of what the next Matty G or WTF1 Matt Gallagher said in a YouTube Championship episode around Monza. If you know, you know. As all shot there gets himself on the Scari. This is setting to be a valid lap. His last one was invalid, and he's hoping to get himself up to the board from P18. Obviously LP is with us as well. He's joined midway through this qualifying session, so he's able to get himself out on track, which is brilliant to see for Jaguar, as all shot down comes across the line, and it's a 1 119.75. I was over 117. I'd be absolutely astonished. But a solid lap from all shot down. You look lower. The field stops to start his lap. So is LP in the Jaguar. There's a couple of others as well. Paul Watson's on the lap as he's just rounded off a Ascari with a Andenge in front of him. He's on an out lap, so Andenge might need to get out of the way here because they're approaching quite close to each other as the Swede does his job as Paul Watson exits Parabolica and comes up to the line of the short entry here. Crosses the line. That will be P13 with a 120.469. That's a good lap from Paul Watson in the Jaguar. Hopefully he gives the slipstream back to his teammate who's just started the lap. He's down in... Oh no, he's gone into the pits. Ooh. Oh, that's that gone. There's Chewy, the top 3 country leader. He also starts a lap. Maybe a couple of others, including Nico Carr, who is up by around about 3/4 of a second as he ran wide at Ascari. There goes his lap time. That will be an invalidation as Baby O'Reilly has joined. I'm not sure if he was on the reserve list. I'll have to check on that one again. As we are 3 and a little bit more. Well, 3 3/4 minutes left in qualifying 1. I did improve, and someone else has improved. There's been a movement down the order as Blaze retires. And there is movement down the order as well, as I believe that was LP who's put himself in P12 with a 120.172, which is a very good lap for the Jaguar as he's looking to get himself into Q2 as well as Paul Watson. But Paul Watson's down in 15th at the moment, so it's going to be very close to see who will be in and who will be out. As it stands, we'll be definitely losing Bunny Stare, X, Bloomstar and Stream. And that might be... could be Luke, but I don't think it would be Luke because that's no game attack. He's joined in the reserve car, it looks like. So there's a new reserve that, unfortunately, I did not know or notice either in the Discord chat. So only my apologies. My apologies only. As Streams looks to have set a lap. He still hasn't set one yet so far in Q1 as he starts on another attempt. Bloomstar is coming through turn 1 as Xerxes puts himself in P11 with a 119.725, just about peeping all shot down there by about 1/4 of a tenth, which is very good for the MTV driver. He's been struggling a lot this season in the qualifying sessions mainly, and it's a very good lap to get himself in that position as Danny Stair looks to come across the line. This won't be an improvement as he goes into the pits. Some would say that could be his qualifying over with 2 minutes to go. By the time he gets back to the Jaguar, change the tyres, I don't think there'll be enough time. There's Bloomstar in the Jaguar, as it stands, we're losing 2 Jaguar drivers so far here in Q1. Let's see what Bloomstar can do as he heads down the back straight, heads into Ascari. And, not Ascari, Parabolica. He's come out of Ascari into Parabolica, that's the one. And he is looking to see if he can find an improvement. But the majority of the top 6 are all retired. Bloomstar does set a lap, which is a 120.7, puts him P18 for the time being, as Paul Watson comes out, which is going to be his last run as Sloth retires in the pit lane. He thinks he's done enough to get himself into Q2, and it looks like it's going to be fine. But it does look a little close between the top 11. Well, certainly from around about 5th to 11th, he got about half a second, which is obviously not much at all in real life. But in Formula 1 terms, it is a little bit, but it's still not that much. And Paul Watson is definitely out on the lap, and Nico Carr starts his lap. Also, things about to start his lap as LP dives into the pits, and looking to see someone on that's near the end of their lap. Paul Watson's obviously just rounded out his off lap to start a flyer. Bloomstar is up by 3/10. There's a congestion going on down a Parabolica, like the Q3 session we saw a couple of years ago, as Barney Stairs left the session again, unfortunately. There's Bloomstar invalid, which is a bit of a shame. We're going to call Baba from now on, because knowing me, I'll butcher the second name. So here's Baba in the reserve car. That's brilliant, I love it. as he's lost the back end, just like Streams, he avoids the wall. A little bit of rallying, he might be up to a bit of Dirt Rally 2.0. As he's looking tight at the bottom here. As Streams puts himself P14. And Paul Watson is a couple of tenths down on his opening sector here, so it doesn't look good for the Jaguar. I don't think Nico Car will be coming through either, which is, I think, well, looks like he might just be alright. As Chewy is down in P16, and that's not good at all for the Nintendo car. But it's all down to Bloomstar and Paul Watson. Bloomstar's up marginally, and it doesn't look good for Paul Watson either. He's well, the Delta says a second and a half down, which isn't good at all in round Monza. As Bunny Stairs rejoined, someone's had a bit of a moment behind looked like someone did have a bit of a back-end loss, as Aylan's unfortunately left the session. So we do have a little bit of internet connection issues here tonight in Formula 4, and many drivers leaving and joining. And Paul Watson being one of them, that could have cost a vital run-in time in Q1. As Bloomstar, can he get himself into Q2? The answer is no. He might have improved on that time without viciously slamming himself into the wall. He's not very happy that he is out in Q1 and down in P19 as well, which is a big shame. And iStreams is definitely one of the surprises of that one, in P14, getting himself through into qualifying 2. As the drivers just finish their sessions. I think it's just what it is with the Formula 1 games, with a couple of drivers that are in the pits, and unfortunately they don't classify them as they have crossed the checkered flag. And I'm in looking of my mobile phone device, as I cannot find it anywhere, so I can check the Discord, and it's, as I say that, it's in my pocket, so I did not look very far indeed, as Aylan's rejoined the session. And that's the end of Q1. So it was Total P's and the Jaguar who topped that one by just around about 4,000. The top 4 were in a 10th, which is brilliant to see. So Droftas P2, Blaze P3, and the Glock down in P4. Then you go down a little bit of Infamous Pillars, who's only about 3.5 tenths off. Then Matteo, Chaz, and I Am Sloth, all within a handful of hundredths of a second. Then you go down to Aylan and P9, and then it rounds off the top 10. LP and X both doing well to get themselves into Q2. All shot down, and iStreams are yet impressed in this Q1 session. Nico Car, our reserve, is he is through. I had to check then if there wasn't a red arrow there, but he is through. And unfortunately, out of the session are Chewy, Paul Watson, Bannister, Bloomstar, and Baba, who joined very late on in this qualifying session. And thank you, Gav. And it will heat up hopefully in the last 2 qualifying sessions. Obviously, shorter qualifying sessions than what we see in Q1. And 15 minutes is the time slot allocated for qualifying 2, where we lose a further 4 drivers, and we do see P's, and someone we haven't seen is I'll try my best to work that out. I'm not sure who is missing here. Nico Car's there. It might be iStreams, but yeah, it doesn't look like his name is listed in the 14, so that must be extremely unlucky to get himself into Q2, and you don't have the opportunity to get yourself out on track in Q2. It must be the most gut-wrenching feeling out of many things, as Q2 is underway with drivers coming out on their laps now. And Nico Car Reserve comes out in front of, I can't see what the car is, a Nintendo of some sort. So that could be Aylan, it is Matteo in the Nintendo car, as he is also out on the lap time. It should be interesting to see if any drivers do opt for the medium compound tyre. Obviously, it's a bit slower than the soft, the red stripe, but it's obviously more durable in the race, which obviously, you do want a durable tyre now and again, especially in league racing. And obviously the one stop should be predominantly the main strategy, unless safety cars occur, of course, as the drivers warming up their tyres for the start of Q2. As Streams is back in in the session. I think that counts up to 15, 2, 4, 8, 9, 10. Oh no, still 14. No, we're missing on someone, and I can't really count on who it is as the drivers are out on the out laps. I do apologise for the slight delay. I was just trying my best to count up who was there and who wasn't there in the list, and I'm trying to in fact who is that driver that isn't there, and I just clocked, and I think it might be LP, which is a big shame because that gentleman was showing some fine pace in qualifying one, as a couple of drivers starting their laps. Nico Car in the reserve, being one of the very first to start the lap in qualifying two, and he is hoping for maybe to squeeze himself into the top 10 as he exits turn 1 and flies into Curve de Grande and heading into the second chicane. Make sure he doesn't get on the throttle pedal a bit too greedy, but that looks like a bit of a corner cut. But he's got away with it because the track map hasn't lit up all in red, which means if it does lit up all in red, that means the lap time is invalid. But it looks good for the reserve car so far as he exits Lesbo 2 and goes down the second DRS straight out of 2 in Monza, and then sets the benchmark with a 19.989. That's very hard to see with the blue Monza sky above. As see what the reserve car can do. All shot down with a 19.764. He's definitely improved over the last 3 rounds. He's obviously got himself into the points the last time round at the Circuit of the Americas. And Chaza on the medium tyre with a 19.7. And we will check who is on the medium, who's not, as Nico Car sets a 20.2. Yellow flag in sector 1, but I believe that is for the slower driver that is coming out of the pits, as Matteo puts himself P3 with a 119.8. And there's a solid start if you're looking on Danko last year in Q2. As Dreams hits a Scari now. More yellow flag in sector 1. But yet again, I believe that is a slow car just getting away with a faster one, unless someone has had a bit of an off, which would be a bit of a concern. There's more yellow flag in sector 2 and sector 3, which is must be just some slow drivers or something. As Streams finishes the lap time, what will this be? A 1:20.5, put himself P7 for now. There's a bit of congestion going on between Alan and is that? No, it's not Glock. It's not Glock. I've been waiting to say that for weeks, and I've finally got anything to say it, but it wasn't Glock. It was probably Matteo, and Alan just out in the out lap. Matteo was the one that ran wide. Let's see what Chocolates can do. Our championship leader heads into a Ascari. Looks good for this middle sector. There's the yellow flag in sector 3, but that's near the end of the lap, which is all cleared now as he heads down this straight before heading into Parabolica. This is going to be the most frequently used turn of the evening, I believe, as he makes sure he gets the exit right, make sure he doesn't run too wide. He can go on the AstroTurf and get himself an invalidation on time trial, definitely. As he comes across the line, that will be a 1:18.286. That is a very good lap from our championship leader, and that puts him top by about 1.5 seconds, which is very good to see, as we still wait for lap times from Total P's and Glock, so it might be a little bit closer near in the end of the session. As, we're still waiting for obviously those guys to set themselves a qualifying lap here in the second part of qualifying. Obviously the top 10 goes through into qualifying 3, the final part, the shootout of qualifying, as someone that is on the lap is Alan. He's obviously gone on the softs, unlike a couple of others like Blaze and Sloth have all gone on the mediums, as well as Chaz, who's obviously in P2. As Alan has opted for the softs. He wasn't the quickest in Q1. He's down in P9, I believe, at the end of that session, as Gav showing his support for Droftas, the man from Newport, who's currently topping the time in sheet here in Q2. Alan might have an answer for that, but this middle sector doesn't look as good as he hits a Ascari. Make sure he doesn't run wide and exit or back end whilst there. That curve is very dangerous in the Formula 1 game. For on other simulators like a Corsa Competizione, for example, it's quite flat, that curve. As Alan enters Parabolica to finish off a lap for Monza. What will this be? This will be a 1 minute 19.3. That is a good lap for Alan. He's a couple of tenths faster than Chazza in. Obviously, they're on different tyre compounds, but that's a solid lap from the former championship leader, we should say, in the Nintendo cars. Pease is warming up to start a lap, and Slaughter's ran wide, nearly takes the DRS board with him at the exit of Lesmo 2, and that will look like to be a slower lap as you go back on board with Blaze, as he hits Lesmo 1, which he doesn't run too wide an exit. We're breaking into Lesmo 2, I think this was the place where Lewis Hamilton had a retirement in 2009 where he lost the back end of the exit and went into the wall, and Blaze looks for a good middle sector. It's okay, this might be close between him and Chaz, maybe Chuck Aylen in the mix as well. Actually, I could give a prediction for, I believe a Sloth in front. Oh, there's Sloth going across the line to the 123.747. That's his teammate in front of them, which should be all shot down, who is obviously warming up for going yet again. As Blaze will obviously give back the slipstream as he crosses the line. This will be a 119.4, puts him P3, a tenth behind Aylen, as all shot down starts his lap. And, still waiting for that time from Please, Glock and Pillars, and Please down there a bit slowly there, as here comes Glock, who is looking to get himself into Q3 in a set of medium tyres. There is a yellow flag in sector 2, that might be Blaze, who might be just slowing down, as Drofdas is retired, but I'm not sure if that was on track or not. I'm not too sure about that one. It might be on track actually, which would be a big shame, as Glock puts himself P4 with a 119.336, just 4,000 behind his teammate Aylen. We still wait for Pease and Sloth, as Pease just starts his lap time after his previous one was invalid. So it's a big shame for Drofdas if he's unable to take himself into Q3 with a bit of an incident out on track. He's looking very comfortable out there, as Pillars has closed the benchmark a little bit, as well as Andenge. They have missed that one, and Andenge sat in an 18.973 and Pillars sat in 18.581. And Gav is showing his support for Chazza, who's down in P7 on the mediums. Looking good for him so far as we enter the last few minutes of qualifying. And Xerxes there, he's crept himself into the top 10 without us knowing, with a 120.050, as he is starting out on another lap, as well, the majority of drivers would go into the pits by now. So this, you technically call it the gap, but I wouldn't go that far just as yet, as he goes into Curve de Grande, looking for an improvement on my lap time to make sure he gets into the mid-19s, as Pease goes P8 with a 119.597, as Xerxes negotiates the middle chicane at the start of sector 2. He's looking a little bit loose at that back end. He will need to sort that one out for the race, hopefully. And he goes down the DRS straight before heading into a scar with his yellow flag in sector 3, my apologies. And it looks to be a slow Jaguar, I believe. That could be any one of Andenge, maybe, or someone like that, as Xerxes looks to finish off this lap. I don't know if it'll be an improvement or not, as there will be, I don't know if there'll be enough time for him to get himself round and to dart into the pits. He's looking for a new set of softs, which will make sure he get out on the last run. There's Pease and I believe that might have been Glock. No, it's not Glock, it would be Matteo, who is Matteo's crept himself up there as well into P4 with a 119.002. That's a very nice lap for the Nintendo cars. Obviously out-qualified Nayland and Glock, so the pot 3 driver is currently out-qualifying the pot 2 driver, who's out-qualifying the pot 1 driver as things stand in Q2 as Peace comes into the pits. And he didn't want a chance on those softs, but Chazza is going out on those softs. He is down in P9. He needs this lap time, and he needs the tyres to work as well, as he's taking it very cautiously in sector 1. as we're looking for someone who is on the lap. As, I think it is. As Sloth is obviously the slowest of them all, and he's down in P14 with a 1:23.747. As it stands, he'll be out in this qualifying session. As we're still waiting for drivers to set their laps. They're driving very slowly to make sure they don't use as much tyre percentage on those softs. Obviously, they'll be good enough for one lap, one hot lap, and one hot lap only. Especially on this track. His Nico car is the reserve driver tonight, one of two, and one of three actually, forgot about that. And he is warming up, well, he's just cooling down before the start of his last lap. He's been overtaken by an MTV car, which could be anyone of... it won't be Xerxes, it might be Sloth actually, and it was Sloth who's about to start his last qualifying lap. Well, potentially his last qualifying lap. He still have enough time to abort this one and start another if he wished. That he is heading down the very long back straight before heading into turn 1. Braking around about the 100 metre board. Well, that's where I brake anyway in my time trial. As he exits turn 1 in third gear, surprisingly. Makes sure you want to get a minimalisation of traction control as he exits turn 2, right into the second chicane. He's 2.5 tenths up on his delta, which is a bit of an improvement. I believe his mistake came at the exit of Lesmo 2, so there'll be a big improvement coming up very soon if he can keep it clean and keep it quick as he enters Lesmo 2 now. And it looked alright, far better than the last attempt. He nearly took it with the DRS, so the DRS sign with his last attempt, so that's far better from the MTV car. As he enters Scary with a Jaguar doing a bit of lawn mowing there, as on the Fly Emirates logo, as Sloth negotiates the Scary very well before heading down the back straight. Needs as much ERS, maybe as rich mixed fuel as well, and needing a better exit, which he has got, for heading into Parabolica for one last time. And he exits the corner looking for an improvement. He should get an improvement. It should be comfortable actually, and that is P5 for the MTV car, 119.158. A good lap to get himself up there in the top 5. And Chazza, in fact, with an 18.8, himself P3, which is good to see. As Nico car is unfortunately behind a certain... Oh, I can't see who's behind. It might be Andenge. No, yes, it is. Good, thankfully, he's letting by. But P's looking like the driver in danger down in P10. A bit of a buffer between him and Allshot down. But, can't rule out anything to happen in Formula 4 as Glock sets a 118.1. There's a benchmark for you, and that will be making sure that Glock starts on the softs in the start of the race. As Allshot down to complete a lap. What will this be? Will this be good enough for Q2? Unfortunately it isn't. There wasn't an improvement on his first lap, and that looks to be all shot down. Qualifying's over, and Xerxes is out as well, and I'm not too sure if Nico Carr's got the pace to get himself into qualifying 3 here at Monza as he heads down the back straight heading to Parabolica. That's a new one. Parabolica. Mixed up my P and my B there. As what can the reserve car do as he exits, looking to come across the line, looking to set a lap, and it will be a 1:19.754. That is not enough, but he'll start P11 on a new fresh set of tyres, so I think he'll be quite happy with that actually, getting 7 P11 as Pease is on a lap. He's looking for an improvement on the lap time which he set on the mediums, with a couple of lap cars on his way. One of them's in seat, one of them is one of his teammates, which is Andenge, as Pease just sticks to the outside line, the normal racing line, and he's about to come across the line. What will this time be? He topped Q1, so what will this be? This will be a 1:18.4 that puts him P3, which isn't that bad considering the Glock definitely put the foot down in that lap, as Chazza is just on an invalidation, and that looks to be the end of this qualifying session unless one of these two can find anything, and Allshot down definitely isn't. But my apologies, and I don't know if Nico car will either, which is a shame. They will both be out, and Blaze has survived on the mediums, so obviously he'll have a couple of sets of softs in Q3 to his disposal, which will be very handy indeed. In the middle of the field, actually used another set of the softs there. And Nico car didn't improve on that side, obviously because it's the end of the session. All shot down and got in the pits. So that should be the end of that. Welcome to the stream, everyone. If you've missed the start of qualifying, well, you have missed a little bit. You've missed a few drivers retiring and Glock setting some purple sectors here at Monza. Obviously, P's topped qualifying 1, and now it's Glock who's just topped qualifying 2. Quickly tell your mates to come and join before qualifying 3 gets underway here at Monza, and it should be a very, very good session indeed. With a couple of drivers that could all be in with a shout for pole. Unfortunately, in Q2 we lost Nico car, all shut down, Xyz and Ice Dreams, who retired early on in the session due to retirement, I believe. And here we are. Here's the full classifications for Q2. Glock topping it in the Nintendo with Droftas in P2. Total P's P3, Pillars P4, Chazza P5, and Danger the Jaguar in P6. Matteo in P7, Aylin in P8, Sloth in P9, and Blaze in P10, getting through there on the mediums. Just as Gav said, he did very well to get himself through on the mediums, so that's definitely a one to watch in qualifying 3. And missing out on the top 10 is Nico car, our reserve driver tonight, all shot down, Xerxes and Ice Streams in the JCB. And that's the end of Q2. What are your predictions for Q3? Who's going to get pole? Will it be Glock? Will it be Droftas? Will it be Peas? Will it be Pillars? Those have been the top 4 so far in these opening 2 sessions. And can you remember Blaze as well? Who's obviously going to be starting the race on a set of medium tyres. Can he work his way into Q3? Obviously he's done that part. Can he work himself near the front? Obviously you can't forget about Aylin as well. He used to be championship leader not so long ago. So hopefully the other drivers ready up, and us commentators and viewers can enjoy Q3 quite quickly, because we're still waiting. I'm not too sure if there's something gone wrong with the lobby, which will be a bit of a shame that it has, as we're still waiting for the lobby to get back underway, as we are hoping it will be resolved quite quickly here at Monza. And just let us do predictions now in qualifying 3, because we're looking gonna be heating up quite quickly at Circuit de Monza. As Gav, it's going to be very tricky to predict, and the only prediction is going to be close and it's going to be rapid. Well, it certainly will be quick, but I won't be able to predict this qualifying session anytime soon, and it will be very quick indeed, as we do have some incredibly quick drivers here in Formula 4, as it looks like the lobby has got himself working again, and it looks like we will get ourselves underway in qualifying 3 quite quickly, because here we go, the last 12 minutes of the session. It looks a little overcast, which is obviously a bit exciting, and it looks like a little overcast compared to Q1 and Q2, and hopefully he is as Q3 is underway, we wait for the drivers to come out in these laps. They should all be on the red soft tyres. Welcome to the stream, everyone. If only just joined in, you've missed out on 2 qualifying sessions, and now you're just in time for the enthralling action of qualifying 3, which will be fun to see. And Denge is going to be the first man out on track here at Monza in the Jaguar. Obviously on those softs, him and Infamous Pillars are going to be the first 2 to start their lap times. I've only got a minute's time if they all drive at well, it could take a long time if they drive at pedestrian motorway speeds in the UK, but they'll be driving quicker than that, I'm sure. As Matteo joins them out on track, a little bit behind them, but obviously track position does count around this track. Obviously we saw in 2019 when Nico Hulkenberg bunched up everyone and caused utter outrage and uproar across social media. Obviously we all know what happened in that Grand Prix. With, Charles Leclerc coming out on top. As here come the drivers, like so Glock staying in, Glock, Blaze and Aylan all staying in. As the rest get themselves around the track. It'll be Andench the first start a qualifying lap here in Q3. He is exiting the Ascari and going down the back straight into the Parabolica. Well, not many times I'm going to say going into Parabolica. I mentioned it once today and we'll mention it again because this is the brilliant circuit that Monza has to offer. Obviously got the old bank in the Parabolica. Now you turn in and it's incredible on the original Assetto Corsa game. That was the only thing I did. Just go on the bank in. That was the fun as he's looked like he did touch a bit of the grass there as he went into the first chicane. As that exit looked pretty neat. As he heads down, Curti Grande looking for an improvement on his positioning in Q2. He was near the second half of the timings, and he's looking for an improvement, maybe a chance for a top 5, maybe even a top 2 finish for the Jaguar car as he exits Lesmo 1 and Lesmo 2. Hoping he can get a solid banker lap on the board before the extremely quicker times near the end of this session. And hope you're all enjoying this qualifying session so far. I'm certainly enjoying it as Andench invalid at Ascari, and it looks like Pillars managed to keep himself clean through there. Now obviously Andench couldn't in the Jaguar. What can the MTV car produce here at Monza as he goes round Parabolica for the final time for the only time on this lap? This will be the benchmark for the rest of the field to follow. A little bit of a slipstream, and it'll be a 1:19.033. Well, 033 says on the telemetry, and 032 it says on the stand-in. So that is the lap time to beat. As total P's is invalid, Aylan's going out lap. Blaze is invalid. So next should be I Am Sloth, which he's also entered Ascari in a qualifying lap. And it looks alright as Droftas puts himself on pole with a 1:18.535. The JCB car does very well to beat Pillars by just under half a second. As what can Sloth produce in the System TV car? See, both of them have got different liveries, and comes across the line, 1:18.817. That will put himself in the middle of Droftas and Pillars in P2. As Glock is invalid, and that is Chazza with a 1:19.271 as they stand. And as I said, Glock's invalid. Blaze and Andench have also been out, but they've invalid. They've only gone now into the pits. So I believe Aylan will be the last one to set a representative time in this opening run of qualifying as he enters Ascari yet again. We've seen many times over the course of this race. He comes down the long back straight in that lovely looking Nintendo livery. Obviously if you had a Nintendo back in the day, you would know. Obviously a little bit younger than the Nintendo 64, but the Nintendo DS, when that came out, I was on it like a car bonnet as Aylan comes across the line to set at 1:18.964, puts himself in the second row of the grid in P3. It's definitely a shake-up to what we saw earlier on in these qualifying sessions, but that's a very good lap as Gav has shown his appreciation to Sloth, who didn't act like a sloth and put in a very good qualifying lap in fairness. And we are still waiting for people to go for in the gap, and we do have someone entering the gap, and that will be the Jaguar of Total P's. He thinks it's a good idea to go when the track isn't crowded, and he should have the entire track to himself. Obviously depends on what others do, as Blaze also joins him. I think I'll be that, as Aylan's obviously in the middle sector, but that should be coming in for an in lap. Well, I'm not going to quite go to as far as an age reveal, but I can remember the days of the Nintendo DS, the PS Vita. That was a good console. Unfortunately, it broke once, and I never got it fixed. I was absolutely heartbroken when the PS Vita broke. I definitely grew When that PS Vita broke, I was gutted, absolutely gutted. But back to the track, as Total P's about to start his qualifying run. He invalid his first run, so hopefully he will be able to get a valid lap in for a starter, and hopefully a lap will put him near the front of the grid as you're on board with the Jaguar car. And he enters turn 1, the opening chicane, as Gav is in laughter of my PS Vita breaking down, which I don't find funny at all, as P's enters Curve de Grande, looking for an improvement going into the second chicane. Obviously the first sector split is coming up now. That is a 25.9. Obviously Cody says it's a purple sector. I'm not too sure if it's the purple sector or not. I will hook up on the race director, but I really want to see this lap from the Jaguar as he enters and exits Lesmo 1, now enters and exits Lesmo 2, opens the DRS for the second time in this lap. As my voice starts to go already, and we've still got about 28 laps of this of a Grand Prix as well, so that's not good. As Pease hits the Scari, exits the Scari, that looks valid to me. This looks to be a valid lap for the Jaguar as he enters Parabolica. I hope of a quick qualifying lap time here at Monza, and he's looking good. This looks good. This looks very good for Total Pease. He's short right up to the line. I won it 18.6. That'll be P2. Just over a tenth and a bit more, a tenth and a half behind the Droftas, who's on pole. Here's Glock. He is obviously as well joined the Pease in the Invalidation Club for the first run, as he is in a second run looking to set a lap on the board, as well as Andengen Blaze, who I think will be waiting near the end of the session for them to get their lap times in. Dropping down to P10, he would want to start there for his championship credentials. Obviously we are missing Paulie Orange tonight, so which is a big blow actually for the championship, because there's a really quick driver in Paulie Orange, and he's obviously shown that far too many times this season, as unfortunately not here tonight, as Glock spins it at Parabolica. It's a very slow motion type of spin from the Nintendo car. That was a bit of a drift, and he is round and he is going into the pits. I'm not too sure if he'll be able to come round again to set another qualifying session. Could that be P10 for the Nintendo car? And the man that sat in third in the championship, and Chazza, has been a bit of a good session for the MTV boys. P3, P5 and P6, and they're within about just about 5 tenths of each other, 4.5 gonna be even more precise. There's a cough. I can't confirm that wasn't a COVID-19 cough, although I did unfortunately test positive near the end of last year, but I'm all good now, as Chazza is going down the back straight. That was a cough tickle my throat. There might be another one coming, yeah. I do apologise. As Chazza enters Parabolica, looking for an improvement on his lap time. Can he get it, is the important question. The answer is he will cross the line, and it will be a 1:18.6. That puts himself on the front row of the grid in P2. That's a very good lap for Chazza, and that he'll be very happy with that indeed. As the MTV car will even better. Well, obviously Pillars are the pot one for MTV, pot one driver for MTV. He's down in P6, so that's a bit of a worry for him on a personal note. As Block is back out, as well as Andenge. Going back to second 2, but that's not for much. Aylin's about to come out for his last run, so it's the time for the last runs in these qualifying sessions. Get everyone involved. Who's going to get pole? I will not give a prediction, because I don't want to make myself sound like a fool. Will it be Droftas? I'm not too sure if Chazza will go again. I think that'll be the end of him. And the Geordie Juggernaut, is that a nickname for Chazza? Because I'm not too sure on that one, as that's what Gav's calling him anyway. As you're on board with Andenge, he's on an outlap. Everyone's on an outlap unless your name is Chazza, but that must would be an in-lap for the MTV car. We will go on board with Andenge, who looks to be the furthest forward. Well, the person who's covered the most distance in his outlap. Obviously invalid his first lap, and hopefully this one he will be able to put a valid lap time. He's still got Blaze and then Jan Glock yet to set lap time. Scott the tyres from the session /X as Gav it confirms that the Geordie Juggernaut is a nickname of Chazza. I will try my best to feature that as many times as I can. As Andenge and Glock behind both start their qualifying laps. As Andenge hits the first chicane, he's looking to get himself at least in the top 5, as Alan is still there, obviously with an 18.6. Andenge is about to hit the second chicane. There might be a little bit of contention going on behind. But it won't affect Andenge for now. It looks like everyone will across the line. Yes, they all do. Drop Gas being the last man to get himself across the line. He's currently on pole as things stand. But that might change near the end of this session. Andenge opens the DRS before going down and then back up to Ascari. He's looking to get himself in the mix for pole. There's a bit of a poor Ascari, that is, and that will cost him as Pillars puts himself on pole by around about 8 thousandths of a second. As I'm not too sure if Andenge will improve. Let's see what Glock can do in the Nintendo. Andenge will obviously set a lap, but I don't think it'll be good enough to trouble the fast guys. As Glock in the Nintendo obviously puts some pressure on himself with that spin. As Andenge puts himself P6 with an 18.9. And here comes Glock at 118.220. That looks to be pole for the Nintendo car, as he's still weak for Blaze to come across the line. As well, beat that. That is one phenomenal lap by Glock. And I'm in need of a glass of water after this, so you do excuse me at the end of this qualifying session as Blaze will come across the line. This will be a 1:79. The lap time's tumbling round Monza. That is pole, and that is pole by a long while. Drop Gas did improve, but it wasn't enough for pole, as it's been taken for the BMW of Blaze. A fantastic lap. That is one hell of a lap, and that is what you want to see here in Formula 4. The top 9 within a second of each other, but it's Blaze who's taken pole by over a quarter of a second to Glock in P2, who looked like he had pole secured, but it wasn't to be. Droftas P3 and Pillars in P4. Aylin in P5, Chazza P6. Total P's maybe a bit disappointed with that down in P7. Sloth in P8 and Denge in P9. The slowest of the runners, as Matteo did not set a lap in Q3. And let me see if I have got some water. I do have a glass which is half full or half empty. As Blaze, yeah, definitely quality lap, and that is what you want to see. Let me just excuse myself as I take a sip of my water. Conditions are overcast now, as I have successfully drunk my water, which is a good sight and a good thing to do, because obviously drinking water is good for you apparently. As we wait for the drivers to ready up, maybe some strategy, maybe the option of fuel, and hopefully we'll be able to ready up as quickly as we can, as it's actually transfer deadline day in the football. As there's signings going on left, right and centre in the world of football. I'm obviously not into that as much as I am to my rugby. Obviously with the Guinness Six Nations kicking off on Saturday, I am one to be very excited for the rugby, both regionally wise and international in Wales. And yeah, that's what my Twitter's all about really. But less of me talking about my Twitter feed. We need to get ready for a race here in Formula 4, as the formation that is underway here. Blaze sluggishly gets off the line, but he does manage to get himself out of the starting grid in turn 1. In hope of a good start to warm those tyres up. Monza, obviously he starts with the mediums, like I said. He would have been one to contend with earlier on, as he starts on the medium tyre. Obviously the slower compound, but the more durable tyre, which would be good for him in the long run. Also others on the medium is Baba, our reserve, Bloomstar, and the second third reserve, and Granny's there, obviously we saw last time out, that's Coulter. And the drivers making themselves around for the formation lap. LP got himself in P2, he's down in P20, which is a real good to see. Yes, indeed, Gav, it was a brilliant lap by the BMW Blaze. Hopefully, we'll be able to keep it up in this Grand Prix. As the drivers set themselves for 27 laps of this brilliant circuit, one of my favourites. I do enjoy Monza. Obviously the real life action is nearly as good as Formula 4, but it's still good. Obviously we saw Pierre Gasly winning the Italian Grand Prix at AlphaTauri this season, and hopefully we would have a race like that. That would be very impressive indeed, as Blaze looks to line up here at Monza, looking for the first good spot, number 1. Obviously Lewis Hamilton claimed that at last season's event. Obviously had that time penalty for the pit stop in when the pit stop was closed after Kevin Magnussen's retirement. And now we're still waiting for Glock. Droftas is on the grid, but we're still waiting for Glock. There's the Nintendo car taking it slowly. And a bit of mind games kicking in to cool those sets of tyres down. As only now reaches the grid, we're waiting for everyone else. And the last car, LP, forms up. We're going to wait for the 5 red lights here at Monza. What's going on with the time ins? Not sure if the lobby's glitched, but here's the 5 red lights, and the 5 red lights are underway, and we are go here at Monza, and Blaze gets off to an okay start, but Glock is absolutely flying as they fly down into turn 1, and hopefully they'll be able to get their good lap times in, hopefully all clean back at the pack, and the timings are all over the shop, yeah. And I can't really see what's going on. Glock is absolutely flying. I cannot believe what we're seeing here in Formula 4. Meanwhile, back down the midfield, it looks like there's been a good start for a few. Alien is the one that was jumping all around in the timesheet. There's all shot down, goes around the outside of Nico car. That's the second chicane. A very nice move indeed for the BMW driver. Gets himself out of the P11. And Paul Watson moves up to P16 early on here in this Grand Prix. Meanwhile, back out in front, you have Glock, who started this race fantastically. The slower formation, that did work because he's flown off the line here at Monza, and Glock has overtaken Blaze as well. So Blaze from pole to 3rd in this opening lap, and that's what we wanted to start by we wanted to say. And there is that Total Keys grid to the wall. Yes, it was. At the exit of Ascari, ran on the curb a little bit too long, and he's lost the back end and went into the wall, and he's down in P15, not the best of starts for the Jaguar car, as he looks to go down inside of Chewy, as Glock starts lap 2. And now we'll trip to the pit lane for the Jaguar car. Meanwhile, that's been back up here. DRS in the middle apparently, but obviously that's the wrong lap with timings. And Streams and Nico car battle out, the Streams gets the move done. Meanwhile, out in front, Slot has lost a couple of positions. He's going to lose one to Elon, I believe. And he looks to try and get that back. As he's hoping to get that position back. And they enter the second chicane. Slot next to Nico. And hopefully we get to see the order work now, and that's what we've seen the opening couple of laps in many new races, in fact, unless you're really posh like a certain PSDL or the brand new HDG system, which is posh indeed. And then all over the back of Slot now as they go into Ascari. Slot is a little bit wide here, and then looks to force it, but he'll stay behind for now. And then he's got in front. Now look, hear that. I looked like they were behind, but he must have teleported in front or something. That's happening there. Meanwhile, Pillars and Droftas are catching up to each other. DRS is enabled, and Pillars doesn't pass lap of the Grand Prix. Even with the close up on the JCB as Chad takes Slot car, go from bad to worse. As Jurkus Mateo down the inside into turn number 1. And that Brady gets the move done, which is very smart from inside the cars. The Champions League top 3, I believe, in the car, and he's doing very well this season, especially the last couple of races to get himself into Q3 on a couple of occasions. Pretty quiet. You obviously see the DRS train start to form at some areas. You will see it going all in there because he is a bit behind of Blaze at the moment. He's really struggling in these last few races. Since he's been championship leader, he's lost out a little bit since his brilliant start, very consistent start. But he's struggling a little bit. The top 3 are quite close. Normally Glock is pushing a little, pushing far in front at this stage. Yeah, the 4 actually from Ascari actually. Moonstar's overtaking on the 203. Glock gets very close. Yeah, 10th of a second they were. As if he can get a good exit here, come the JCB, he will out DRS. Going down this back straight, which he will have an assistance. I'm not sure if Glock will defend it. He goes to the inside of the defensive line as they start lap 4. Here comes Droftas. They are 3 wide here at Monza. And Glock will just about get the position done into turn 1 and exit the turn 2 and block. A bit of a scare there with a 3 wide moment, but they all remain in the same positions with Blaze just tagging along nicely in P4 on those medium tyres as Paul Watson is being a bit of an off maybe at turn 1. Yes it is, there's Chewy as he's unfortunately had a bit of an off at the turn 1 and turn 2 chicane. He's down in P17. Meanwhile, nothing else going on in the midfield. It's all quiet I believe, except for the big scrap out in front between the top 3. Glock, Droftas and Pillars, they're all nearby. These 4 in qualifying all 3 sessions, and they're close again in this race. As Droftas is looking really short, he's making Glock look very vulnerable on the opening stages of these Grand Prix. Not what we normally see from Glock. He normally does pull a really good start and pulls away, which is it's a bit of an unusual sight to see, and him so close to the start of these Grand Prix. Pillars are still looking as well. We can't forget him in this battle. Obviously, we see it between the top 2, but can't forget Pillars in place as well. Will Droftas go for it this time? And it looks like it won't be a 3 wide that we saw last time out. And Droftas side by side with Glock going into turn 1. Glock will have the inside line. They better give themselves some room, which they do. And Glock swoops round the outside and gets the move and retains the position. That's a very smart retain of a position by Glock as Pillars looks to go down the inside. This is 2011-esque between Vettel and Alonso. We're going to see it here in Formula 4. But Droftas just about holds out as they enter the second chicane. Brilliant driving as Blaze picks up the first of the penalties this evening with a couple of warnings which has accumulated into a penalty midway through lap 5 with a bit of a back end moment there as Sloth and all shot down battle it out for P9. And it looks like the Sloth is really struggling on these opening stages. While Pillars is looking quite close to the back of Droftas. He will get back to that now. All shot down, it looks like he'll be getting any sort of move done. It's all open back out in front. Matteo looks to catch behind Chaza. There's a man in the wall there, that is Elon. Obviously he was fourth in the championship heading into start, and that's a mistake into the wall. That won't help him one bit. Meanwhile, out in front, they could get close here between Pillars and Droftas as they start lap 6. Out in 27 this Italian Grand Prix, but the DRS train is certainly helping Droftas. Will he go for a move down the inside into turn 1? No, he won't. He thinks better of it, and he doesn't fancy the move. Meanwhile, Matteo did fancy the move on Chaza, and so does all shot down. Did he get the move down on Scott? No, he can't quite. Which Ailen's down to P10 now, which will be a big disappointment for him. Streams is having a very good race. Streams and LP, P11 and P12, a very good start for these two so far in this Grand Prix as Chaza gets back on Matteo, and the scratch in the top 4 is still there. But Glock has pulled a little bit of a gap, but it won't affect the DRS train just as yet, but it's a bit of a gap which will be a bit concerning for the man from Newport and the JCB and Droftas, as Pillars does have DRS, but they won't be used enough going in to Ascari. Just not going to move an all shot down, I'm not too sure. He does look to go down the inside actually. which is very nice to see, and he gets the move done, going into Ascari. That's a very nice move. Up at the P8 now is the BMW, but Sloth will have a word on that. He won't settle down for that just as yet. Meanwhile, up in front we see the top four. Well, arguably, and then not that far behind in fairness in this battle. There's a yellow flag in second. I believe that might be Mateo, who's coming in for an early pit stop, as well as Aylan. So the two Nintendo cars working in tangent, and we've missed an overtake for the lead, or have we? As Droftas and Glock go side by side, bit of a trip to the grass there for Glock, and he loses out on the lead. And will he lose out to P2 on pillars? I'm not quite sure they will. He will, but will Glock send one down the inside into turn 3? A bit of contact, and pillars will swoop the ball. There's a brilliant move from the MTV car. Two cars in two corners, and that is one way to get the race lead. Blaze is there's a 5-car strap for the 1-3 lead now, which is phenomenal to see. This is where you want to see in Formula 4. This is what we like to see. And can Blaze get the move done? Oh, he's gone for the outside, and I don't know, Brock saw him there, but he looks like he's going to get the move done into Ascari. Yes, he will. One was William Ties is back up into the podium positions with a penalty, of course. And Andenge, who's been quiet in this Grand Prix, but he's come to life now. The Streams picking up a penalty as Blaze down the inside for Glock, as Andenge wants to go around the outside of Droftas. Glock holds it round the outside for now as they go down the back straight. It looks like it'll be Droftas and Blaze with DRS. Will they get the move done going into turn 1? And well, Droftas will have a look down the inside. Well, Glock is more looking at the lead. Meanwhile, Andenge and Droftas side by side into turn 2. And all that little bit of contact, and it sprung this race to life here in Formula 4 around 11 at Monza. And well, Glock is looking to retake the lead. He had Xerxes overtakes Paul Watson up in the P12 late down on, but we cannot stop looking at this scrap. The top 5 all within a couple of seconds of each other. I'd calculate that at around about just under 2 seconds, I believe, if my maths are correct. Killers lead, Glock P2, Blake P3, and Bench P4, and Droftas in P5. Chazza and Allshot down, 6 and 7, Allshot down in P8. LP and Streams running at the top 10 after a couple of pit stops, and hopefully there'll be time for the first round of stops very soon here at Monza. And hopefully it is intense indeed, isn't it, Gav? Yellow flag in sector 3, that might be a reserve car. And now Xerxes out of his qualifying session. I believe that was Nico car that has caused the accident, unfortunately, as he flick spins the car around as a VXC to avoid a virtual safety car, and Glock and Andenge take advantage of this by jumping into the pits for others stay out on track. And your VSC, after an incident at Ascari, they will get out on the race circuit just in time for the VSC ends, I believe, which they do. So there's technically a slow pit stop there, although they will be down in P9 and P12, that might not, because there's anticipated for Andenge. But they've got a free pit stop in it as well. As Streams also pit as well, and Blue Star. So those two are going to the pit lane. So Blue Star, in fact, selects the soft tyres, which is very interesting. So you'll be pitting again, and it is the Glock's going to the hards, and we're backing away. And Andenge is opting for the mediums again, very close here. So what Andenge can do, can he overtake Chewy, which he does. He reacts quickest to the restart with the VSC, and he moves himself back up into P11. Actually, meanwhile, Stop and also going to get a close to each other, but not much occurring there as LP picks up a 3 second time. That would be before we might see many more of those in this race tonight at Monza. Next on Glock's list is a certain Paul Watson who stayed out up to P8, and Glock, no offence to Paul, but Glock should make this obviously fairly simple. They went to Parabolica, obviously the two very different lines. Glock swoops in, and Paul takes the effect, the very early effect in fact, and this should be a simple move really for Glock. He starts his lap 10. And then jumps to Prince there. He was doing very well this evening. Great. Unfortunate for Cirque, he had a really good qualifying session actually, and he's out of this Grand Prix. Might have been an incident that might be no fault of his own if the tail puts him a 3-second time penalty for corner cutting. Yet another driver that was being involved in corners, and Paul Watson just lets his teammate down then by. So that's very tactical from the Jaguar boys as Block picks up a 3-second time penalty himself. She's the second of the top runners now, just a little penalty after Blaze, and he was really catching up with us on Pillar, so race leader as they end lap 10. And hopefully for Blaze, the Pillars can come into the pits quite soon, so he can have some fresh track or some fresh air, and hopefully he'll be able to extend that lead as Pillars does come into the pits at the end of lap 10, which means Blaze leads as they start on lap 11. And meanwhile, what's going on? Looking for a scrap for P11. Chewy inviting there, and Chewy looks to go around the side of the total piece, but there's a penalty. And also down with P3 because that's just Blaze's come in, and as well as Chaz, there's Slot in the pits as well, and a couple more, and obviously Pillars, and Pillars has come out behind both Glocken and Denge. So the VSC has worked wonders for Glocken and Denge. And Pillars in fact, just out in front of Paul Watson. They'll be side by side. They're giving each other enough room. So that VSC has worked well for those two as and then with Block, and it worked very well indeed actually. As you know, at the front there's about 2 seconds buffer for Blaze against Droftas. Meanwhile, Baba, who's obviously at the pit yet, these two in the reserves, the reserve car, the reserve Formula 4 style car, and he'll be looking to go a little bit further, like Blaze so far on these softs. It's a bit of a train forming behind Paul Watson there in P8, still yet to pit on those softs. He must be coming in quite soon though, as Blaze starts lap 12, and well, Droftas is pit then in the JCB, as well as all shot down. LP should follow them, I believe, which he isn't. Yes, he is. Locked in, brought himself back up into P2. Where will Droftas come out? Will come out the yes, he will. The Nico car picks up a 5-second time penalty speed in the pit lane. So Droftas comes out comfortably in P5. P5 again. All coming out. And well, they're a bit further behind than what normally are. Blaze obviously is still yet to make his opening pit stop on the Grand Prix. Obviously he started on those medium tyres, while the drivers around him started on the softs after that brilliant qualifying lap. Alan, obviously a bit of a mistake at Ascari. He's trying to wrestle himself back up there. He's up to P7 with Vanny Stair in front of him. He's only taking one reserve car of Baba, and taking a couple of seconds now. And Nico car, the third reserve driver, is down in P19, so it's obviously not going well for him. And he's opening half of the Grand Prix. Alan is looking to move up into P6. He should be able to do it on far younger and fresher, on quicker softs compared to the reserve cars mediums. Hopefully we'll get the move done either into Parabolga or into turn 1. And it looks like it will be turn 1. So just glance over my head to check the time, and it's the fast line in the UK, just wanted to see what that was. And Aidan should be able to get the move done here. DRS is wide open, and he should be safe when he says putting up a fight. Going into turn 1, he will have a look, but Aidan has got got that position covered, and up into P6. And Mateo's overtaking Streams going down into turn 1. Will LP have a look? I think that he will. Be great into turn 1. As Mateo does lock up a bit, but that doesn't affect him unless his tyre wear is very low. Meanwhile, out in front, this whole opening opened up, but Block is taking a little bit of time from Blaze's Pillars. It's about 3-7 time out corner track, and so I'm Denge in a good position now, actually. Because he obviously hasn't picked the penalty yet. And, so they'll be just waiting for the end of the race. LP picks up a 3-second time penalty for corner cut in, and Blaze stays out an extra lap. So he's obviously losing a little bit of time, so he's thinking he can put the foot down now and really push on those old set of mediums. Where Glock is obviously pulling the hard, with the others going on the medium tyres. We've gone past the halfway point over this Italian Grand Prix. It's been a very good race. You obviously had that three-way moment earlier on between Pillars, Glock and I can't help everyone. That is my own fault, and they're all close together. Well, they're not all close together. There's a couple of seconds between them. But well, the two reserve drivers are battling it out. They still haven't pitted on those mediums, and they're showing us some very good racecraft here. The two reserve drivers, as Baba gets past his so-called teammate Danny Stair. Obviously, they know they are friends in real life. I'm not too sure on that one. That'll be one for the research book. Meanwhile, Pillars has closed in on Denge, which is an interesting thing that is happening here. And there's still a DRS train occurring behind the two reserve cars. And Total P's near the front of that train, and he wants to get in front of the train, I guess. And he's got Chazza behind him. And, well, he's got that move done fairly simply. Going down this DRS zone. If we have a look at Babin, or he will not. They enter Ascari, and he's still a bit too far behind. He's going to move done on Anvenge in the Parabolica. Maybe a good exit. Might set himself up down the back straight, and a good exit is what he's got. He will have the assistance of the DRS, the drag reduction system, as they go flying down. So when Chazza gets the move done on Bannister, they're going Parabolica, I believe. But not quite enough there for Infamous Pillars. But Andenj runs a bit wide into turn 2, and this will be close as Andenj has in fact lost the back end, and onto the grass he goes, and that will be a big blow for the Jaguar car, and he is going to be losing a lot of time there. He's in a good position, but he obviously saw Pillars was coming, and he's ran wide to turn 2, and then he is unfortunately went into the grass on exit. Really a bit of a moment of oversteer, which has cost him dearly now, and he's got Droftas for company in a battle for P4. Meanwhile, in 9 will Chazza gets in front of Fabio. Obviously, Peace has got that move done. So it's this turn of Chazza and the MTV car looking to get the move done. Please put your thoughts of this race in the comments below. I am intrigued what you all think, because this is a very good race. It's only going to get better and better as the race gets on. As Sloth gets the move done on Bannister down the inside, and Chazza gets the move done on Banner down the inside. There's a bit of synchronisation there with the MTV and the reserve car. Banner picks up a 3-second time penalty, exceeding the track limits at Ascari, and Sloth will look to come in. Sloth will look to go down the inside as well. Very close there between those two. And Sloth gets the move done. Your Blaze is pitted, and he will come out in P5 on a fresh set of softs. Does he think he'll be able to get them at the end of the Grand Prix? He's come out right behind Droftas and Andenj, so this is going to be quite close, I think. We have a nice three-way scrap, and if Blaze's tyres warm up very nicely, he will be able to get himself up into a couple of positions. Meanwhile, Anstead's pitted. It is his first stop in the Grand Prix actually, and he comes out down in P19. We're on board with Blaze. Obviously led this Grand Prix a little bit. Glock picks up a 3-second time penalty. These penalties are racking up for Glock now. That's his second one. That gives him 6 seconds worth of penalties, and becoming costly within the Grand Prix. Meanwhile, Scrap to third. Droftas and Andenj is beaten up as Andenj is forced to go defensively. He picks up a penalty for that cut at Ascari. And where's Blaze come from? He's come from absolutely nowhere, and he's overtaken Droftas, and he might have a run on Blaze. That was a brilliant Ascari for the BMW, and he's got himself up into P4, and he will have a run at Andenj surely now, as Chazza picks up a 3-second time down the corner cut. Here comes the BMW down the toe, and he's got superior speed on that new set of softs compared to those two on the mediums, and he goes down the inside well, round the outside, my apologies, in before the braking point of turn number 1, and that is Blaze. Up into the podium here again, and up into P3. And he hasn't got that much not that to do a gap between him and into the pillars. Meanwhile, on the engine, Droftas get close again, but Droftas in the JCB, our world champion leader, quite in front. It's a big shame for him. He's looking to, well, extend his championship lead, or at least keep it. And maybe even minimise the gap, because as he stands blocking his lead, he would lead the championship as well. More battling. Also doing the Chaz close each other again. These two have been quite close. Well, if you can't stop, well, these three have been very close to each other the entirety of the Grand Prix. Which is what we want close action and battling, and this is exactly what we got here at Monza. As the block leads, as you come round to start lap number 18 out of 27. Meanwhile, these two are going to get close as Blaze sets the past lap of the Grand Prix. The gap between Blaze and Pillars is 1.1 seconds now. That scores down massively in the last lap or so, and Droftas is looking to get the move done. Going down into turn 1, the inside line, and he should get this move done unless he runs away to team 2, but he doesn't, and he gets himself back up into P4. So welcome to the stream. If you've only just joined, you've missed one hell of a race here at Monza, with a couple of drivers pitting again. Aylin and Total P's both coming into the pits. The new set of tyres, Aylin goes into the mediums, those will last them to the end of the race, and P's is on the softs, and Blaze is gambling the softs. I think they've worked quite well so far at Monza. So he's caught up, he's winning DRS, we've moved to the Phillies, he's caught up at a rate of knots. Yeah. He's looking to get himself into P2, which would be a brilliant result. Obviously, he started on pole on the medium, but obviously the VSC did help block out a little bit. Blaze is going to get very close here as they go down into Parabolica. He will have a go again, surely. Going on the back straight here, it should have a superior exit to the MTV car, who's on 6 level mediums. And he should get the move done when the tower, like before DRS has even been activated, and that should be that. That is Blaze out with the P2, and he's only got 1.5 seconds to clock in P1. We are set for one good finish, but obviously depends if Blaze's softs can hold out for the entirety of the Grand Prix. Still got a fair few laps to go on that, and if he can do a bit of tyre management, then he should be able to take them to the very end. Only 9 laps left for this Grand Prix. Block leads Blaze P2, and the rest are on mediums. And Denton and Droftas are still battling very close, and there is more people fitting. Boostar again coming into the pits. They're waiting for more action. And Blaze has caught up massively. The use of this soft tyres has worked absolute wonders for Blaze, because this is what he wanted, and this is what he's going to get. He's going to get himself in the lead not so long, and he looks to go down the inside in the Parabolica. I don't think he will go for that move. I wouldn't go for it personally. If he doesn't, he looks and he waits for the back straight. Obviously he'll have the assistance of the DRS on right block, and that opens now a slot to the 3-second time out his corner cut in. This could be crucial, and Blaze looking to get the move done, and it looks like he will down the inside into turn number 1, and that is Blaze back in the lead after going on the mediums, starting on the mediums, going back on the softs, and he's back in the lead at the start of lap 20. But he just needs to nurse those tyres home, because I believe Block has got more penalties compared to the BMW driver, and it'll be a big disappointment for Block. Obviously the hards might have been a bit of a safe option. Might have should have gone on the mediums. Obviously a winner defended Blaze, because Blaze is rapid at the moment. You know, Chaz and all shot down side by side for P7 here. They're all shot down, looks to have the outside line of the Curve de Grande, and it looks like Chaz will look to have that position. As they go into second chicane, Blaze already pulled around about 8/10 of a second on Block, which is fascinating. Obviously Block is on 2 steps tyres lower than what Blaze is, and Blades is using that to good effect, and he's pulling away massively, and I think he blocked a little, might just go out about DRS as they come across the line to start lap 21 and 27. Meanwhile, they're scrapped between Chanza and all shot down my apologies in the BMW as my voice is starting to hear the yellow flag sector 2. That will be something we can't really see we're watching me run a little bit wide. It's bad better to get the move done. And then she's lost a little bit of time. Drop dash then and scrap the P4, but then kind of lonely in P6 as Matteo is going to be caught up to the back of 4 shots down the scrapped Nintendo and BMW line again. We also saw that in front between Police and Glock. This time we might see it between 4 shots down and Matteo here. Obviously the BMW this time would have been in front, but there's no tyre advantage between these two except that also done for far younger tyres. Also in a set of mediums, but Matteo has ran longer on the set as Barney Steg is inside the streams into turn 1. So those softs are working for the reserve car as well, as we see the reserve driver get himself back up into 3:13 in his second race in Formula 4, which is very nice to see. For the reserve team, actually, they technically are a team. If you represent the reserve team, I think they do have good pride in saying that, but they're not officially a team, because they don't go down in the constructors. And then she's closed up and dropped that. Blaze lead with 2.3 seconds. Those softs are working wonders, like I said earlier on. But can Andenge get a move done? And Gav says with Doctor keep doing what he's doing with no penalties. And this is going to be close. And then he's going to go around the outside and he gets the move done at turn 2. And Gav was saying the Doctor's going to keep what he's doing with the penalties, and here he comes again. Going through Curve de Grande, these two going side by side yet again. Doing second chicane. Hopefully no contact. As Droftas gets the move done. And then did have a look going to turn 4. But that would have been very risky indeed. As the man from Newport clinches P4 for now. He hasn't got any penalties in fact compared to the rest of the top 10. The last position is still LPE. He's caught up massively. There's a little scrap going on here from P7 to P10, and he's bunched up over here. Chance is holding a bit of a train going on here, and meanwhile Pillars is also close to back to Glock. So Glock's hard, must be really struggling. He must not be liking those hard tyres, as this time Pillars is in DRS. I think it'll be easy as what we saw with Blaze on P2, but Pillars will be looking at removing the P2 as total Ps. He's had a really good Q1, but just fallen off ever since. He's on the P11 and he's been rewarded with a 3-second time penalty. Not rewarded, the 3-second time penalty. The Streams also picked up a penalty for the captain. Can Pillars get this move done? I don't think he can, which is unfortunate for him. They enter the second chicane. Meanwhile, and then she's a bit too far behind. And here's a scrap. Matteo and Chaza going into turn 1. A little bit of contact there. Even more contact maybe there between the Nintendo and the MTV car. But Chaza looks to hold on, but Matteo with the traction looks to an edge in front, but these two are going side by side again. Going into the second chicane. One more roll shot down, looking to pick up any scraps if these two collide. Matteo locks up but gets the move done, and up into P7 for the MTV driver. No, not the MTV driver, the Nintendo driver, that's the one. Meanwhile, these two are at it again as they're about to start lap 24 out to 27. There's not long left. Game predictions in. It looks good for Blaze. Will you make sure if those soft tyres can hold out? Meanwhile, here comes Pillars, and he's looking in the slipstream. And it looks like as Matteo and also done both pick up penalties at the same time. That's impressive. And Pillars gets the move done, or has he? Or will Glock get it done? Meanwhile, Droppers and the Dens are getting quite close in to turn 1. And Glock holds out for now. But surely this is a brilliant opportunity for Pillars, who's ran out of the RS unfortunately. So Glock has some in reserve, and he'll keep P2 for now. Meanwhile, Andenge did get the move done. But here's the drop gas. by side. Meanwhile, we do have some overtaking. Pease has come from absolutely nowhere on the softs, and he's gone from P11 to P7 a lap. I swear there was a delta of 3 seconds 2 laps ago, and he's up in the P7. He's overtaking the team LP, all shut down, Chaza and Mateo in a span of about nothing. That is phenomenal from Pease, and I'm very impressed, and I'm glad they I'm disappointed that I didn't see that actually, as LP gives it a penalty. Still some close battles going on. Unless you're named Ryan Sloth, P6, good drive, but not much company. We're about to start lap 25 of 7 years. Taylor looks for another move on the block. Going into turn 1 maybe. You can use the outside line. Going into turn 1. That is far better, and it looks like we will get it done, unless the switch back on block and the traction will help those hard tyres. They're still going to go side by side again. It looks like it's going to be Glock this time, but I'm not too sure. And it looks like Glock, it will be indeed. As they go into the second chicane, Glock holding out this P2. Blaze is 5 seconds up the road. He's left them. He said goodbye. He wants to win this Grand Prix on those softs. And he hasn't got long. Only a couple more laps. LP is up into P9, going around the outside, going around the outside of the channel, turning the inside line. Meanwhile, also down is looking, as well as Aylin. Obviously, he's up there near the top of the championship. Going to P12 here tonight, a bit of disappointment for him after his earlier spin. And he's looking to get some points on the board. Obviously, you don't just reward the top 10 like real life. There's Chaz to get the move done. He's going around the outside. Oh, bit of contact there. And LP's unfortunately in the wall, which is a shame because that battle was very, very good. I think there's a loss of the back end there. Maybe Chaz tried to cut across, but there's a piece of front ring there which obviously blew off LP's car. In fact, they all shot down as well as Aiden. There's the big gain from that, and he's up to P8. As Pillars is looking again as they start putting up the lap, very close. It looks like Glock's going to hold out there as they go into the Curve de Grande. Still pushing those mediums. The MTV cars, a bit of an unfortunate in there between LP. They're all driving very close and very clean. There's one unfortunate moment there, and they all converted on each other. And Jalen is one stuff back up with the P9. And he's a bit behind Mateo, but Mateo has the penalties, and he hasn't. So will Pillars get a move done? We go into a Scary for the penultimate time. Monza's really important with my voice is all gone. Even though the parents seem to go down and speak to other people in the household and again it's gone through because my voice will be gone. And there's Pillars too far behind to get the move done into a Scary. He might have a look going into turn 1. Drop that is still behind that then. He's been going at it all day screen of another 3 second time and 4 in. And the swap for P9 is looking to die down quite quickly. As we do have the 3 reserve cars, 13th, 14th and 15th all finished up together, which is nice to see. And Pillars is looking to go around the outside, but can't quite get there. Unfortunately, as they start the last lap, but Droftas will have a look from the outside, turns to the inside line for turn 2, have to give some room there to Zandenge. And it's the scrap between the Swede and the man from Newport. I didn't say that commentaries, but here we are. And it looks like it will be the man from Newport who will claim that position as they break into the second chicane for the final time. And it's been a very enthralling race as Sloth does have company in the form of a soft runner of Total Peas. So Sloth is not lonely anymore. He has got runners with him. Keep an eye on that. As meanwhile, Glock is just about defending that from Infamous Pillars Scary into the Scary, and I think they'll put him off for a move into the final corner Parabolka. We know someone that's in Parabolka is Blaze, and he has absolutely nailed it tonight. Except for obviously he started on pole on the mediums, and he's 1 year at Monza. A brilliant drive for the BMW. And Glock will take on P2, and he will take on P2 on track. Him and Pillars are the same with the penalties, and Josh that's P4 and Denny's P5, and P's did get in front of Sloth at the end with P6 on the set of softs. So the drivers that went on the softs there, obviously you saw P's who went from 11th to 6th. Blaze obviously went on and won the whole thing, and P's finishes P6, Sloth P7. Mateo will beat his Nintendo teammate and Alan for P8 and P9, and Chazza will look to just about beat also down and see Alan gets the position on the penalties. Chazza P10, also from P11. LP comes across the line for P12, then here come the reserve cars. Bannister wins that battle. Well, he beats LP in the process. LP down in P15 with Chewy in fact Chewy in fact with a P13. Very good result for him. And Paul Watson P17, Bloomstar P18 with Streams in P19. Xerxes are only retirement here tonight. What a very good race between these lot, these Formula 4 lot, and LP wins the driver of the day on Codemasters, but I believe Blaze has won that accolade with a stunning drive. He's completed the hat-trick, the pole, the win, and according to Gav, he had the fastest lap of the Grand Prix, which we will find out the confirmation after the podium, which I unfortunately skipped, so we don't see drivers throwing champagne at each other, and there is Blaze the fastest lap at 1:20.198. A brilliant race for the BMW driver. He obviously won. We had Glock in P2, Pillars round off the podium in P3, Droftas in P4. There must have been within each of these were about 1.1 seconds off of P2 there actually. And Ed's P5, Sloth did well in P6, who obviously beat Peas, who's down in P7. Alan in 8, Matteo P9, and Chaz rounding out the top 10. All shot down. Bannister, Chewy were next up, with Baba, who joined midway through qualifying 19th to 14th, a very respectable drive. And Luke is very happy that he didn't get lapped, so that must have been Baba, because I'm pretty sure that must be the game tag he runs on. LP P15, Nico Carr P16, Paul Watson P17, Bloomstar P18, and it was Streams who finished last on track, and unfortunately we lost Xerxes to a retirement after an incident with Nico Carr at Ascari. And just want to say thank you to everyone who tuned into the stream tonight. Thank you, Gav, for providing your good comment again. It's brilliant to see you here every single week supporting Formula 4. And I shall be off now to collect a glass of water, because my throat is in desperate need of a glass of water, and it's quite late in the night as well. And, I don't think it's Belgium next week, as I believe we've raced at Belgium before, so that's already happened this season. And I will double check what is the next track. I will find out for you in a couple of seconds. As hang on, just get the Discord up. See if I can find it. There'll be a lot of scrolling. As do apologise for this. I'm just checking if I can find the calendar. Oh, here it is. Next track is Montreal in Canada, so that should be fun, and it should be good for some good racing here at Formula 4 next week on the 8th of Feb. And I've been Yeston, and I'd like to thank you all for tuning to the stream tonight, and I hope you all have a brilliant week, and we'll be back next week for more Formula 4 action.